G'day Bomber fans, the wait is over, footy is back, we don't have to sit and watch other teams play. The Bombers will return to action, and without moving on the ladder I believe, we do have a very interesting game coming up against Freo in Perth though. It's a really tough one to gauge. Before we get into it, apologies if I sound like I'm currently pretty sick, and we actually have some votes from our last game against Carlton to go through a long time ago, but let's do it. So we, for the third match in a row, have the exact same votes, me and you guys. Martin, Wright, Caldwell, we are seeing eye to eye, which is pretty sick. It also means there are some changes to the overall tally. Merritt is on top, but look at Nick Martin. He has shot right up into contention with Caldwell's 2 votes helping him enter the 10 as well. Keep up the votes, my guys. It's a good race so far. Alrighty, so Essendon up against Fremantle. It's an away game. It's the third time we've played them up at Optus. We are 1 win and 1 loss. Our last game against the Dockers we actually lost at Marvel last year, but before that we had a win streak of 5, so history means nothing. What matters is our current form, which we have the upper hand in. We have won our last 4 games. We sit 6th on the ladder, 8 and 5, while Freo, it's strange. They seemingly had finals on the agenda with wins against Melbourne and Geelong, but they recently lost to the Tigers at home and then received a giant belting against GWS. They look really vulnerable right now, and I would say if they lose this here and go 6 and 8, significantly risk missing September action. So although we go into this game with better form under our belt, with a better ladder position and with more confidence, I think the way this game turns out depends a lot on our opponents, who have shown at their best they can beat the very best teams in the comp, and at their worst, the opposite. I think if a red-hot Freo turn up, the same that beat Melbourne and Geelong less than a month ago, we could be in some strife and have a much harder time of things. I think a lot of people are looking at the last 2 Fremantle performances, the horrible losses, and just forgetting that this team looked incredible just before those losses. It makes the game really hard to read when one of the team's form is all over the place and ours is really steady. We beat those we should, lose to those we should lose to, but we don't know if we are favourites for this game, if we should win, if the Freo side that turn up are the flag mantle variety or the side that just got smashed by GWS. In a lot of ways, Essendon and Fremantle are quite similar. For example, we both don't mind other teams entering their forward 50. We both trust our defence to stop repeat entries from being scores, and we also don't get a lot of forward zone territory either. We are both in the bottom 6 for inside 50s, I believe. We have a much easier time of scoring though than them. That's an advantage we definitely have. Their highest score against a top 8 team, which we are, is 79 in their victory over Melbourne. They score well against lowly sides, but struggle when they come up against good defences. We have 3 scores against top 8 sides higher than 79. We generally are able to kick a winning score, and this has been without Peter Wright for most of the year. We are yet to play a top 8 team without our star forward. With our star forward. Our forward structure is a lot better now that he is in the team, which spells trouble for Freo. Another issue with Freo is that they look genuinely leaky in defence at their worst. They let Jake Riccardi kick 5 goals. GWS had 21 marks inside 50 last match against them, a ridiculous amount for the forward line they have. That is a really worrying number, which to me suggests it's something they won't let happen again. I really do think their defensive structure will be at its best against us after what we saw last week. It's got rebound game written all over it, and their home ground advantage isn't much of an advantage. They have lost 3 matches at Optus this year. They lost to North there, they lost to the Dogs, and they lost to Richmond more recently. 2 of those teams we have just beaten ourselves, and we have a big WA fan base who will hopefully turn out, making this game just another match at the G with pretty much those dimensions. But how do we win this game of footy? Well, to start with, we get off to a fast start. This is a team that can be beaten in the first term. We are one of the best first quarter teams in the league. We have won 8 when the best teams have won 9, and Freo, they've just won 1 first quarter for the year. It's what has lost them quite a few games, including the one against Richmond. So if we get a really fast start going, we have the upper hand. It's hard to come back from deficits and easier to defend them. We need to really fix our contested footy. It's not as much of an issue against Fremantle, but it's something I haven't been impressed with this season, and with Parrish possibly returning, it's an area of the ground we can have a new advantage in. I thought the Carlton performance was good in waves, but I would like a contested pressure-based game that plays into our hands if it goes down that road, to help familiarise ourselves with the better teams in the comp for finals. This leads to another thing, clearances, something that after our game against Carlton I want us to see dominate more. We looked so damaging with right back from centre clearance scores. We had our highest tally for the year, I believe. It showed a damaging new avenue to goals, but stoppage clearances, that's an issue for us. If there is a ball up around the ground, I cringe because we are such a poor team for stoppage clearances, the lowest ranked in the league, in fact. So hopefully if Parrish returns, this sorts itself out because it's not pretty to watch. I really want to see a four-quarter performance. This isn't how we win the match. I just want to see one as a fan. It's been so long since we saw the club go through a game without stressing out us fans. It's been the one thing holding us back a bit, the fact that we lapse in and out of concentration. Teams can easily get a run of momentum going if they want against us. I would like to see Freo out of the game for the entire game. This is a match I think we can win comfortably if we want. Not saying we will, but Freo are not a bad side. I definitely think we can kick them out of it though. Forward pressure, we are one of the better teams for it, and they rely heavily, like us, on defensive attack, attacking from build-up play from defensive zones. So we need to make sure players like Luke Ryan and Hayden Young have less time on the ball so we can have more time with it. And there are of course some danger players, Sarong and Brayshaw in the midfield. They are very capable of getting the ball in some dangerous areas. They win lots of it. Jai Amos up forward, he is the danger man there, although Matt Taberner just loves playing against us, doesn't he? You can chalk him down for 9 goals and another 15 behinds if they get on top. He turns into prime John Coleman every time he sees his opponent wearing red and black. My biggest worry though is their defense. Alex Pearce and Brennan Cox specifically, they are very handy key backs, much handier than ours. So Wright and Wiedemann will have their work cut out for them trying to get on top in that regard. I want a big game from Weeds. Show us you have that grunt and mongrel about you. While talking about players, I should talk about team news. For us, there is the possibility of Darcy Parish and Dylan Shield returning from their respective injuries. Who they come in for is anyone's guess. We could be quite midfield heavy. It's a tough week at the selection table, especially because there is a fitness cloud placed over Sam Draper and his niggling hip injury. He should get up to play though. Freo will welcome back some star players as well. Sean Darcy should return, Will Brodie should return, James Aish should return, and Michael Frederick could also return. They could have some big boosts and some tough calls to make just like us. So will we win this game of footy? I think we should. I'm not underestimating this Freo side because at their best they strangle teams, they kill you, but their best and worst have varied a lot this year. I think we get them somewhere in the middle and show how mature we have become as a side. I predict a 15-point hard-fought victory. So that's that preview done. Let me know who you think will get the chocolates, but also a quick word from Manscaped. Bomber fans, you know how much I love Manscaped, and you too can see what the fuss is about. Just head over to manscaped.com, buy whatever the bloody hell you want. I personally got the Performance Package 4.0 and enter in the discount code EVERYTHING Essendon20 so you can save 20% off plus free shipping. Cheers, Dons fans.